Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So, surprise, surprise, I'm going to be making a tea again, because what else do I do but make tea? I don't know. The last video, we had a chat, and I made a tea. And now I'm going to make another one, so let's do it. It's quiet time. Well, it's supposed to be quiet time, but I have somebody upstairs making a lot of noise, so it's not, excuse the water, as quiet as I anticipated it to be, but I am trying not to let that get to me or get on my nerves. Oops, because they're kids. What else are they gonna do? Right? But anyways, hi, if you're new to my channel, my name is Carla. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And yeah, I just thought, I forgot my teacup. I just thought that I would introduce myself and give you guys some fun facts about me if you don't know. I just had my birthday the beginning of October, and I am 40 something. I'm old. And my husband just had his birthday as well. He is, just one second, turn the water on. He is a year younger than me, but our birthdays are 2 days apart. So his birthday is also in October. His birthday is 2 days after mine. And we just celebrated our anniversary. He got me, oh, let me show you what he got me. He got me these lovely, lovely flowers right here. I think you showed it. Yeah. He got them for me for our anniversary. And we have been married for 23 years. And in April, we don't celebrate our started dating day anymore, but I keep track of it because it's actually a big deal to me. So, tea. We're gonna get 2 tea bags. We've been through this, but so in April, we have been together for 30 years. 30. 23 years married is incredible. Do not get me wrong. I'm going to set you down for one sec. Do not get me wrong. I think 23 years married is amazing. But 30? We've been together for 30 years. We've been together more than half our lives. Seriously. That's the water that you hear boiling behind you. But yeah, 30. I always call it our non-anniversary anniversary because he doesn't celebrate it. He's like, but I can't help it. 30 years. I don't know anybody who's been together for that long. Maybe a few couples in our church have been married that long. My mom might have been married to my stepdad that long. No, I think maybe a little more than 30 years. Let's see. Yeah, because they got married when I was 10. So yeah, they've been together longer than 30 years. But I've had several people around me, several actually this past 2 years, who've been married much longer than Mike and I. Anyways, they're not together anymore, and that's kind of hard to imagine. Even some people from our church, and you wonder, why aren't they still together? But anyways, this is about me and Mike and my life. So we got together, we were both in grade 9. I was going to tell you how old I was. I'm not going to tell you how old I was. We were both in grade 9. It was spring break. Long story short, when I was in grade 7, summer of grade 7, we went to BC. Checking to see if I put my vanilla in there. We went to BC for my uncle's wedding. My aunt and uncle's wedding. And then we moved to BC. My brother Mark and I, we didn't come back to Ontario. And we stayed there. And then, well, for whatever reason, my stepdad got a job in Windsor. And so we moved to Windsor. I hated Windsor. I still hate Windsor. No offense to anybody that lives in Windsor. I'm sure it's an awesome city. But I truly believe it was God's kind of way of orchestrating Mike and I to be together, because I truly believe from the bottom of my heart that Mike was meant for me and I was meant for him. So yeah, so grade 9, moved to Windsor, hated Windsor, went to visit my dad, spring break, asked if I could move in with him. He said yes. Actually, I think I asked my stepmom. He was married, and she said, yes, your dad would say yes. So I asked my dad next, and he said yes. Just a sec, I gotta watch what I'm doing. I'm pouring my tea. Don't want to burn myself. And so the weekend of the end of spring break, and we're in Canada, so I don't know when spring break is if you're not in Canada, but it was in March, and we went and grabbed my stuff from my mom's house, and I moved in with my dad. And when I moved in with my dad, I got a stepbrother, and his best friend was my husband. His best friend was Mike. Now, backtrack just a tiny bit. Mike and I had gone to grade school together. So we were in grade 4, 5, and 6 together in grade school. So if I think back to grade school, well, when I was in grade 6, I really hadn't had an interest in boys yet. It wasn't until the summer of grade 6 that I kind of started having an interest in boys. But I look back, I never thought of Mike as boyfriend material because I wasn't thinking of boys. But yeah, so we were together for grade 4, 5, and 6. Now, fast forward grade 9, he is my brother's best friend. And I decided that for whatever reason, I was going to start flirting with him. So I did. And it took him 3 weeks to ask me out on a date. And we went to the movies, and he walked me to my door. He's such a gentleman. And yeah, that's a history. We've been together ever since then. We were together, grade 10. So we'd been together almost a year and a half because we got together in April. Maybe it was grade 11. I'm pretty sure it was grade 10. Found out I was pregnant. Yep. And we had our first baby in June of the following year. So going into grade 11. So the summer, the end of grade 10, we had our son. Best gift ever. And he knows it. And then we just did life together. We struggled financially for quite some time. I mean, we were teenagers. My husband and I really were just kids. And 4 years later, we had our daughter, our only daughter so far. I guess, we were a couple, didn't want to be those teenage couples that just kept having baby after baby after baby. And someday I'll tell you my teenage pregnancy story, but there is a lot that went into that, and a lot of how Mike and I got where we are in that story. And so now it's not the time, but someday. And yeah, so, and then after our daughter, 4 years later, it just kind of happened that way. We had another son. And then there's no accidents when you have babies, kids. Mike and I all know how babies are made, so it's not like it was an accident. But I was nursing our son, and then I was pregnant again. And it was much sooner than we had anticipated, but I was like, hey, Mike knows how babies are made. So yeah, our last son was born 18 months after. And so we now have 4 kids. And yeah, we did life for quite some time with 4 children. I ran a daycare. My husband became a master electrician. And we had bought a house in that time. It was our first house. And we got a vehicle, and then a van, because we needed one. And yeah, that's kind of how we did life. And then fast forward, I think, yeah, almost our 19th anniversary, 19th year married. We approached foster care. My husband always knew I wanted to adopt. And so this was, plus I wanted to do foster care, which he knew about, but I sat down and we had yet another conversation about adoption because I was always talking about adoption, near and dear to my heart. I have relatives that are adopted. And my mom would say that I was talking about adopting from the time I could talk. It was just something that I always wanted to do. So Mike, on the other hand, wasn't as keen. But as we grew as a couple, as he grew as a husband and as a father, and our marriage wasn't bad at all, but we wanted the best marriage that we can have, and we still do. And so we're not afraid of going to counseling. We've been to counseling. We will go again if we ever need to go again. We worked on our parenting skills. We did parenting classes. Again, we are not perfect by any means at all. We have our faults and we still argue sometimes and we make mistakes, but we just try to be the best parent and the best spouse to one another that we can be. And so we just try and better ourselves. And so he agreed. He's like, yeah, you know what? I think I could learn to love another person's child. I think that was the big hang up for him in the beginning. Like, how do I love someone else's child? And he didn't want to have children coming into our home if he felt like he couldn't love them, because that would be unfair to them, right? So yeah, we started the foster care procedures. We started the training to become foster parents, and we chose the concurrent. In our Ontario, that means if a child under the age of 6 is placed in your home and they become available for adoption, then you can potentially adopt them so that they don't have to move a home or move to another home, so that it's not another displacement for the child, right? And so quickly after we were approved, we got our first placement actually right on our birthdays in October of that year, and they stayed for a couple weeks, and then we had another placement which we thought we were going to adopt. They stayed long term. They left last April, and then we got another placement who we ended up adopting. We're currently finalizing the adoption, but they're on adoption probation, which means they're not going anywhere. 2 more little boys, 5 and 7, you've seen them, Carson and Max. And so now we're at 6 kids. And my husband, when we first started having kids, he said he wanted 2. I said I wanted 12. Then I went to 6. And he wasn't budging. We ended up having 4 biological kids. Now we're at 6. So, you never know. But somewhere in between the last placement that we didn't adopt and this placement, we decided to build a house, sell our first home and build a house. And so we built this house, moved into this house, and then it was empty because the kids left. We had room for... we have room for 6 kids. We're open for 4. 2 of them, again, we're currently adopting. But once the adoption is finalized, then we can be open for more placements. But yeah, so I said to my husband, it was really hard. I'm like, what do we do if these kids don't stay? And he's like, oh, God will bring us more. And he sure did. And we're so happy with it. So that brings us to where we are today. Yeah, we just celebrated 23 years being married. We just celebrated our birthdays. We just celebrated Thanksgiving. Our oldest son got married, so we have a beautiful daughter-in-law. They got married last year, so they've been married a year and a half now. And our oldest daughter flew the coop, so she's out on her own. So we've got our 2 younger teenage boys with us and our 2 younger boys. So I like to say the youngest of the oldest are with us as well. And yeah, so if you have any questions or if there's anything that you'd like to ask specifically besides my birthday, because I ain't telling you that, just leave a comment below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell notification, and you'll be notified when I I have to learn how to talk. upload new videos. I'm going to sit down and drink this tea over here that I just made. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.